All right, welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green, bringing you brand new interviews right here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, go down into the description, click on some links, sign up for Patreon, become a member of the channel, all those cool things. So I was thinking about today's interview. I was on the big Monsters of Rock cruise that they do every year. And this year, I said, I'm going to check out some different bands. There's a lot of bands that were part of my youth and a lot of bands that I've seen many times over the years. But I wanted to check out some new bands, particularly some bands from Finland. I've been fortunate to have a good audience that tunes in, a Finnish audience. And I think that happened when we had all the members of HANNES on, and eventually we reunited them at Michael Monroe's birthday party. And then, of course, Yerky 69. So when I got on the boat, I said, I'm going to catch some different bands. But those boats are crazy and you forget your schedule and things like that. But one night, I was working with Stephen Piercy, and after that, they do the late night crowd, so to speak, which is a lot of younger people who are up still. And I caught a little bit of a band called Shiraz Lane from Finland, and they were on my list to catch. And I will tell you, it caught my eye and ears right away. And I said, we've got to have those guys on the show. I ran into Hannes somewhere on the boat the next day, and this was a little bit work in progress. And now he's here, all the way from Finland. So we're going to talk to him about all the things that are going on in his world right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there to waste time with you. Right, all the way from Finland. Hannes.
Hello, hello. How you doing?
Good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Uh, I was saying it's a good morning for me and good night probably for you.
Soon-ish. But yeah, pretty much. It's so weird because I made so many new friends on the Monsters of Rock cruise, and I'm still keeping in contact with them every single day. So when I'm hitting them up, then it's a completely different time zone.
Hmm. It's one of the great things about that boat. You meet people from all over the world. Um, I feel like you guys do a great job of breaking through. I'm assuming that most of you guys were born in the 90s, and yet the music you play is music that might be more from the 80s, or maybe early 90s as well. That sound, and I think for a lot of people, your band is like if someone got into a time machine, they get to go back and hear some of their favorite fun music with hooks. Every song, big hooks, big choruses. I'll tell you what caught my eye right away, ears as well. Like I said, is you had an amazing light show on the boat, and it really was powerful. And it was you were out on the pool deck, and I remember seeing a lot of my friends and bands like Winger watching as well. Everyone was kind of checking you guys out. I remember Kip Winger telling me, I got to find out who their sound man is. Uh,
Hmm.
Everyone was watching, and I was taken by your drummer. Uh, what a hard hitting guy. He's got a great thing. And one of the first songs I caught was your cover of Layla, which is great, really fun. And like most people, I wanted more. I stuck around. On those boats, it's easy to go, okay, I saw a song or two, I'm going to move on. But your energy and your hooks kept me interested. And like I said, I ran into you the next day and said I got to have you on the show.
Oh yeah,
Now,
yeah.
let's go back a little bit because I'm always
Hmm.
fascinated by you're growing up in Finland. I've had other guys on and we talked about it. You speak English perfectly. I couldn't speak any Finnish. I could barely even pronounce your your name properly. Uh, but I want to know. So when you're growing up, at what age do you learn to speak English?
So it depends. As my mother tongue is Swedish, so that's like my number one language. Then I have
Hmm.
Finnish, and then I have English. So for me, it might be a bit different than for the other boys, but I'd say it's somewhere around third grade or fourth grade. Can't really remember which one it is. But for me, the reason why I speak English and naturally then write and sing in English as well, pretty much it's all the entertainment that I was exposed to in my childhood. So I can thank my big brother for that, and of course, well, my friends as well. So there's been a lot of that. And but if I think about the guys, I guess it's they have some same experiences in their childhood as well, on top of their school. But mm, yeah, that's a rabbit hole one could go down to. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
But everyone in Finland learns to speak English, right? I mean, it's taught in school.
Well, that's a generalization, I think. Finland is very known for something that's called rally English, and that is when you start talking like this. So you kind of sounds like English, but you literally just talk and talk and talk, and that's pretty much one of the ways that people do it. But in southern Finland, for sure, I think everyone is at least supposed to have it as a subject in school, and then some people learn it, some people don't. It all depends on what your interests are, pretty much.
Right, I can see that. Yeah, we were supposed to take a second language. I learned Spanish. I could say two things maybe now. Somehow
Yeah.
I got through. But as you say, American pop culture and entertainment obviously is big around the world, and a lot of people learn um, words and phrases. What were some of the bands that you grew up listening to?
For me, Michael Jackson has always been one of the greatest inspirations for me. So that typically, of course, there's some Finnish bands as well. I'm just gonna speak for myself.
Mhm.
So, oh, hello. You can see the summer is coming here as I have wasps in my home, but it's fine.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Michael Jackson was big for me. Then naturally, through Anna, our drummer, my best friend, he also showed me other bands. Mainly, he taught me what Skid Row is, and obviously I love that.
Mhm.
And when if I think about the band as a whole, um, you said that we sound like it's like a trip down memory lane to the 80s and early 90s. I really do understand that, but we have lots of great inspirations from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and also as well. Mainly that can be seen in the lyrics because the way I and Nikki, the way we write lyrics, they are very thoughtful and not just all about having a great time. Of course, there's a great deal of that as well, as it's supposed to be there, as we're literally entertaining people, maybe throwing some questions out there in the lyrics, maybe have people think with their brains and stuff like this. So we have Dire Straits, Hanno Rocks, obviously. With our bass player, it's Kiss and Guns N' Roses. Our lead guitar player, Yannis, really likes Def Leppard, on top of many other things. So the reason why our music sounds the way it is, it's just a combination of everything. And for me, I'm all about melodies. I love great melody, but a melody starts with what the drummer is doing. So me and Anna being best friends, he being in the drums, me being in the vocals, we kind of dance with each other. So I try to fill all the spots in between his things that he does, and that's why we sound like ourselves.
Yeah, I think it shows. I didn't mean to pigeonhole you with 80s and
No, no,
90s.
no. Oh, no.
No.
No worries about that. I think it's very cool and do understand that. Plus, obviously, if you want to write the kind of music that you love and that you'd like to listen to, then you'll find an inspiration everywhere. And what can I say? The 80s were filled with great melodies.
Yeah, for sure. And but what I like also is that you're inspired by the people who inspired some of your influences as well. You took it
Definitely.
a step back even, um,
Oh, yeah.
and which
That's
is
what it's
great.
all about.
Yeah, and like I said, for people who are watching right now who may not be familiar with Shiraz Lane, this is a band, like I said, that has good hooks, as you said, good lyrics as well. Then it's not all party songs, but I think there's some really great stuff. Forgotten Shades of Life is the latest record. It came out last
Hmm.
year, and I think it's a great place for people to start. You have 3 albums out right now. We're going to have a link in the description so people can go check it out. And one of the great things about this show is that we get to expose people to new music. I say often that in America we're small in some ways, thinking that everything is here, not realizing that international bands are playing, later this year. You might go back to South America. You just came from the UK. You guys it's worldwide. Where some of our bands, some of our favorite bands, really didn't get out of America so much.
Yeah, that's true. And for us, it was a blessing because it was our second time at the Monsters of Rock cruise, and I think it's not going to be our last time. We
It's
get to see these bands that never came to Europe, or if they came way back. So, for instance, now the fact that I have Kip Winger's number on my phone is pretty cool, and the fact that I got to meet lots of people that inspired me. For instance, I got to meet the guys from Striper, which was very cool. On
great.
top of all these other bands as well, it's brilliant. And for you guys, I think the whole thing is, but this goes to humanity in general. You forget about all the beauty around you when you're exposed to it all the time. The same goes with art. Same goes with everything in life. Helsinki is a beautiful city, but as I'm walking down the street, I'm usually just walking forward and looking forward. But what I try to do is I try to have this sense of being a tourist. So I look up and realize, wow, it's gorgeous around me. And that goes in life in general, I think.
Yeah, well, that's you're giving some great advice because I tell people that a lot of times you can get some really great breaks and do some really cool things, but maybe you don't stop and smell the roses.
Oh,
You get
yeah.
so caught in the moment. You guys are doing these big things. Sometimes you have to remind yourself to look around and enjoy it.
And remember where you came from. Remember where you started. When the going gets rough, and if you're feeling like, what am I doing? Just remember why you started in the first place, and realize how far you've come, and never forget where your goal is. Always go forward. That's the only way it works, because the only thing that is constant is the fact that life is changing. The world around is changing, so we might as well just enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, I think that's well said. So either your album's on Frontiers Records, and Frontiers is good at pushing some of the international bands.
Actually, our first two albums were on Frontiers.
Okay.
Our third one was through Ranka Kustannus. But like you said, Frontiers is a great place to be, and so we'll see what happens in the future.
Okay. Yeah. So there's so American distribution is through a different label now.
Yeah, and in Finland as well. But well, that's all music business talk. That is not really something I'm very into per se. But
Sure.
let's just say that the songs that we're writing right now are definitely looking for a new home. So we'll see if it's going to be Frontiers or whichever label. We have been having discussions with several, so we
Right.
shall see what happens.
Which is good. Nothing wrong with a
Hmm.
little competition. But my point would have been that the labels help you get a little exposure, I believe. Because
Hmm.
tell,
Oh
tell me
yeah.
tell me how does the cruise come about for you guys? The first year, 'cause I saw you on your second year.
Yeah, so the first year, it's just all about rumors and being yourself, meaning the right kind of people. So what I try to do now during this cruise as well, I was literally staying up all night just to make new friends and connections, which I'm very glad that I did, because I met a lot of great people, and they will definitely help me help them, and they will help me as well. Not in the way that I scratch your back, you scratch mine in the business way, but just in the fact that I just love people, the right kind of people. And the Monsters of Rock cruise is the right one to go to if you want to meet your kind of people. So the way, at least it's supposed to be when it comes to music business, definitely you need a team around you. You need the band, and it all starts with the music. But then you also need a management that manages the whole operation. And this management operation, then they find a gig booking agency and then a label and everything around this. It's supposed to be one big happy family that everyone's happy in. And definitely, just like you said, they make the connections, they have the connections. It's just about finding the right people that you want to work with and that want to work with you as well, because it goes two ways. Because the fact of the matter, of course, naturally, as everyone knows, is that the artist is the last one to get paid, even though the artist is doing all the work, even though it's not the all work. Definitely not. We're grateful for everyone who's working with us, but that's why you need the right people, because you create the music, you create the art, then you give it forward, and it's very hard to give your baby forward to someone else. because then you're not in control of what's going to happen next. So that's why you need the right kind of people around you.
Yeah. So, and obviously you've had that, and you've kept your band intact. Shiraz Lane goes back to 2011, I believe,
Hmm.
2014 first record. But you've kept your lineup. You see these guys on the boats. Half these bands have one member.
Hmm.
Some have no members. So you guys have kept it together, and I'm assuming it's because you have a tight organization.
Oh yeah, we're best friends. And the way, like you said, 2011, that was our first gig that we played. At this state, the only member that's changed is the bass player, which we changed twice. But our bass player Joel, he joined in 2014, and that's when I say that the band really started, because we had found our sound, we knew what we want to do, where we're going, and after that, it's been a great ride. It's been lots of ups, lots of downs, but now again, I feel that we are on the up, up, up. So lots of great things are happening, which is why we're writing lots of songs now, because we want to be prepared for everything that we have planned. So
Yeah,
it all starts with it's a family. It has to be within a family. Naturally, sometimes you have some fighting, but it's all because we all want the same thing, which is we want to have this band and make it as big as possible. So yeah, this is the way it works. This is the way it's gonna work. We're gonna make sure of it.
Yeah, and you've been doing good. I enjoyed watching some documentary footage on YouTube of you guys and how you go about your recording process, and it's fun to watch, and it seems that you guys really all get along, and it's interesting to watch because you speak your native language. Well, in this case, you speak Finnish when you're together, but then when
Hmm.
you go into the studio, you sing in English, and it's an interesting thing to watch how you guys do it. And like I said, you do see that you guys have a tight knit thing and that you guys are friends.
Yeah, yeah, best friends. Well, when it comes to this, I think we spend the most time with each other. Then on top of that, of course, our family, but that's pretty much it. And then if we're lucky and we have some time, then we see our friends. But in Finland as well, most of our friends are connected to the music business one way or the other, in bands or something to do with culture, something like this. I have one friend outside that's like a real friend, two real friends that are outside of the music business, and these are two of my closest friends, which is very refreshing as well, because this way, obviously, as I'm always being myself, but if I'm, for instance, with my best friend called Vanna, my friend since second grade, I think, we're all about playing games. So just PlayStation, whatever, the anime, doing everything, all of this. And then I have my other friend Sarah, who then with whom I've known her since kindergarten, and she, of course, she has nothing to do with the music business either, but she loves music, so she's been a great support in all of this as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to have those people with you. The
Hmm. We
reaction
need them.
the reaction to your band, from what I see, is so great because it's so many different people, and people come up to me and they say who they want to see on the show, and so many people on the boat were happy to see that I came to see you and that I wanted to spread the word to other people. But it is great because it was an international audience, and it's young and old and all types of people, and there's something about your music that's resonating with people, and maybe there was a void that people needed. I understand there's other bands doing it too, but
Hmm.
there is a connection with fans. And there was a few Finnish bands. Reckless Love is also a Finnish band
Yeah.
that also was overwhelmingly popular. I went and watched them as well, and so it's fun to see that you got there's a scene right in Finland now.
Yeah, we got a couple of rock bands, but that's pretty much the scene that we have. Finland is known for metal, pretty much. So we got lots of great metal bands. We had Children of Bodom. We have Nightwish. That's of course a different kind of metal. But when it comes to rock bands, there aren't so many, unfortunately. But that's why it's even more important for the bands that are out there to really spread the word where we are from. We're proud to be Finnish, of course, but the way I see it, we are citizens of the world, and so we're just what I want to spread is peace, love everywhere. That's the way it's supposed to be. And I think music in general, it just unites everyone. It doesn't matter if you understand it or not. You feel it in your heart and in your soul. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's I'm so grateful that I get to do what I do.
Yeah, I like your positive message. I've seen you talk before, and everything is a positive vibe, which makes it fun. In a lot of ways, we've all gone through a lot of things.
Hmm.
For people who are older, the pandemic took years away. For people like you who are younger with a career that was building,
Yep.
it takes some time. So it's hard to stay positive when
Yeah, for sure.
during those times. And it's another reason that people are so excited to get out and to see you guys. You just played a festival in the UK, right?
Yeah,
And how was that?
and it was amazing. We played there last year, and after the show, naturally, I went to make new friends. So I went to talk with the guy who's in charge of everything, and I asked him, "Did you hear the crowd? Don't you think we should play here next year? Don't you think we should be one of the headliners, or maybe open up for a headliner?" So now we took a step forward, and then now let's see what happens next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just uh, I love the fact that I get to spread positivity to our music, but it's also like within our themes. I don't know how much you've listened and read the lyrics, but also there are lots of dark themes, mainly with regarding mental health and things like this. As that's something that I've always had a part of me. I always had this darker side of me, and that's actually the reason why I can say this positive and be like the way I am, because what I've seen in my life, it's been quite a journey. Let's say it like that, and that's the reason why I'm even more grateful and happy that I'm still here. Than I get to do what I do, because maybe in some alternative universe I didn't make it. I don't know, but here I am right now. So
Yeah. And I think a lot of people relate to that. They'll
for
relate to your
sure.
lyrics, but they've also just living is not always an easy
Mhm.
experience.
Mhm.
So you
Mhm.
do those festivals. What's the plan? What's the next step? What happens coming up?
So what we're doing right now, first of all, we finally have our new rehearsal space. So we just moved from our dear Vernissa, which was in Tikkurila, the place where our band was started, and we were there for 9 years, and now we had to leave it, which I'm actually very happy for. I've been waiting for it for a couple of years, but now we have a brand new rehearsal space, which will actually work better for us because it's so much bigger, which will allow us to give more content to our fans. Because in this ever-changing modern world, we can't really expect our fans to wait for us to release two songs and then an album, and do it the old way. And I can't really expect that from myself either, because I'm very anxious to put more stuff out there just to have people enjoy it. So now, as we have a brand new rehearsal space, once it's fixed, that's when we start working on whatever it is that we want. What I personally want is I just want to record some fun covers and put it on YouTube. Just do some quality content and show the people how we do it, do the behind the scenes footage and all of this. And of course, naturally, we are working on new songs. So right now we have over a dozen new songs, but we're gonna write at least a dozen more, and then we'll see what we're going to do with them. But the general vibe of the new songs is that now this time around it's all about the melodies. So melody comes first, then we write everything else around my melodies. So it's going to be very fun to see how they become, because now we're writing demos, we're recording demos. But once we take those demos to the rehearsal space, and of course write some songs in the rehearsal space by jamming, uh, I'm just very, very interested to see what the next page in our Shiraz Lane legacy will be like.
What's
There's
your
so much to do.
what's your formula for writing? Do you write your lyrics first? You
It
still
all depends. It all depends. So depends. First of all, does the song come from me, or does it come from Mickey, or it can be a like just a rhythm that I beatbox or Anna comes up with, or whoever comes up with. It can be a riff. It can be a melody. It can be just a thought. But if I just answer from my perspective, sometimes I just think of a sentence, or then I see something and I think of a theme. or then I might just start singing. I usually sing all the time, making my girlfriend crazy. But she's an artist as well, a musician as well, so she understands and she thinks it's cute, even though annoying sometimes. But I might just be beatboxing something, and then I start writing a melody around that. And when I have some kind of song, some idea of a song, a seed of a song, then I start thinking about what does this sound like? What is the theme of this? What's the colors? I usually think about music in colors. So I have a blank canvas, and then depending on which kind of composition I have in mind, then that depends on which colors I use for the melodies. And naturally, with these melodies, then I have some theme, and it all depends. I also like writing it the weird way. So if the let's say the color of the song is purple with some blue shades and some dark colors, I might also add some happy lyrics to it just to make it a bit weird, a bit wicked, so to say. So it all depends on like the fact that I'm just here sitting talking to you right now about our music and music in general is so weird to me still after all these years. It feels so weird that people even care and people want to hear more. It feels so strange. I'm just holding my ears open to the universe as she whispers in my ear, and I'm just happy that I get to take my thoughts on paper and create some beautiful round. It's just beautiful. That's the
Yeah,
way it works. It's magical.
yeah, that's the bit that there's no better way. Everybody should
Hmm.
be fortunate though to have some of that magic. It's a good
Yeah.
way to get through writer's block and some of the other things. But you have so many themes in your life and so many ideas, all of you,
Hmm.
and that it translates well. I hate to be a selfish American, but what is the chance that we get to see you here in America?
The chances are very high, actually. Can't speak of any dates yet, as plans are plans until we're literally on the stage. But like I said, we made new friends, and we're definitely coming there, and hopefully sooner than later. I think this year it's out of question, just regarding that once we come there, it's going to be financially very, very tight.
Right.
But once we know the dates and we can promote the shit out of it, then it's going to be definitely worth it. And for us, it's all about starting somewhere. We've done 2 months of rock cruises now. Definitely going to do one or 10 in the future. I think as many as we can.
Mhm.
And when it comes to shows in the States, I'd say that let's look forward to next year and see what happens.
Yeah, that would be great.
Hmm.
It is very difficult. Getting visas is difficult.
That's the hard, yeah, yeah.
And it's why we don't get to see some of our favorite bands. Hanoi Rocks, we would love to see the members here, but it's very expensive, and there's visa issues. In that band, there's also probably some criminal issues.
Some other.
But so it is hard for us to see the bands. But the people who put on the cruise, Larry Moran, he also puts on a festival called Monsters
Hmm.
on the Mountain, which is a great event. And so maybe there's some
Mm.
other ways. But I feel like someone should put together a good package of some international bands that would I think would do very well here.
Yeah, nowadays, especially as touring has become crazy expensive, from the prices that I'm not gonna talk money, but just the prices have tripled in Europe since our last tour. And so, if back in the day you barely made even,
Mhm.
and if you think the prices have tripled now, that with my easy math, that's already a problem. So I think the future of everything when it comes to touring, at least for the time being, are packages, but just like you said. So for us to come to the States and to literally make even, it should be a tour, and it should be with lots of bands that have lots of interesting fans there. So it should be a combination of all these things. And I just think that it's about time we did something like that, because there are lots of great bands that I love that I know have fans there. If you think about Reckless Love, Hardcore Superstar, the Cruel Intentions that you might have seen on the cruise as well,
Yeah.
our friends from Norway, Heat, Eclipse. There are so many bands that want to come there. And so I think naturally, so that we don't have shows every single day with 7 bands, that would be too much. So we have to figure out what would be the best option for this. But definitely some kind of combination of these. And also, naturally for us, what I'd like to do is I'd like to come to the States. I'd like to open up for some legendary bands there as well.
Mhm.
And I'm talking about rooms of 500 to 1,000, and then also some arena bands. Whatever, anything goes. But I'd like to have best of both worlds, and we'll see. I have my eyes set on a goal, and the goal is to make it big. And what we need is hard work, and what we need is the right people around us that really see what we see and have the same kind of energy that we have to put us where we're supposed to be and where we want to be. But it all starts with the music. It all starts with the hard work that the band puts in. Because if you're a lazy person, if you're a lazy band, nothing's gonna happen. You can always blame the world for not giving you whatever you want, but that's not the way the world works. Work hard, make your dreams come true. It's possible. You just have to believe in it.
Yeah, that's the right attitude. What I think is great is that you play music that people of all ages can relate to, but you haven't been jerked around and jaded by the music industry too much. You're optimistic. You don't sound like a quitter, and that's what keeps you going. So many people have been through this business, and they like you say, they have excuses, or they're quitters, or they don't want to put the effort into it. And so it's good to have some fresh blood, out there that
Hmm.
want. And as you said, other bands as well that that are sort of waiting to break through in other places. And so
Hmm.
it would be good. When you did the cruise, did you get to spend any time in the States?
Actually, we did. We came 3 days before, or was it 2 days? Mainly to get the jet lag off, but also to actually experience it a bit. We did get experience our first tornado warning,
Hmm.
and we got to experience one of the biggest storms that we've ever seen, which was very cool. We got to realize that, yeah, you literally need a car to go anywhere in your country.
Hmm.
Because I'm used to walking everywhere. We like to walk, so we were walking by the highway to places,
Well,
but we had to Uber around everywhere pretty much.
that's because
It's
you
a
were in
different
Florida.
culture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's now. I'll give you some tips. I'm older than you.
yeah.
I still don't have a driver's license.
Hmm.
It shocks many people, but I grew up in New York City where nobody drives.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no
You don't
way
need a
to
car
drive.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you ride the subway, or you take a taxi, or you take a or you walk. You do a lot of walking, and I think walking is where you clear your head and you get ideas, and you have some time. Here in Las Vegas, it's going to get hot. I mean, it's going to be 100 degrees here today, so maybe I won't walk too much later in the day. But I still enjoy walking. But yeah, places like Florida and places like California, there's a lot of highways.
Yeah.
But
And
and
that.
hopefully you'll get to see some of the different places. But yeah, you mentioned that storm. I remember the first day at sea, the boat was, and I have a tour diary for people who are watching, and I did include you guys in it. I think you're in part four, but that first storm was a little rough, and that's also weather that we don't have here in Las Vegas. But
Hmm.
in Florida, it was rough, and I can imagine it being a little scary.
Well, scary for sure. The way I saw it was that naturally I went to talk to the people that were around me, the locals, and some of them told me that no worries, just drink, we're all gonna die, and that was of course fun. But then I also went to talk to other people that I saw that okay, these might be in the right mind right now, so they told us how serious the situation was, but then I just thought that okay, I'm gonna tell the guys, I'm gonna tell our manager that this is the situation, and there's nothing that we can really do about this right now. So let's not panic, and when we survive through this, we'll have a great story to tell, just like our song "Story to Tell" says.
Mhm.
So it was amazing to be honest, and I've always loved storms, but also been a bit afraid of them. and tornadoes in particular, we don't have that in Finland.
Right.
So I've seen like storm chaser documentaries and stuff like that, and that one there I was living something like that. So it was pretty special. But as we were driving back to the hotel, some of the guys were a bit panicked. So I said that, hey, it's over. We're going back home. Imagine everything that we can tell our families and friends about this. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was crazy, but crazy cool at the same time.
Yeah, it's and again a reminder what a big world it is.
Hmm.
All different experiences and those stories are what makes it interesting.
Hmm.
And let's give the audience a little bit if they want to start with Shiraz Lane. First of all,
Yeah.
you guys have tons of great music videos that give you an idea. But tell people where they should start because I want to turn people on to the band.
I should say that start with our first EP. That's something that we are very proud of. We produced it ourselves, had our friend record it, and I can't even believe that we created those songs. The lyrics, the melodies, all of it, we already did ourselves. Uh, Listen through all the albums as well. You'll see a clear difference in our growth. Our first EP, first album for crying out loud. We actually got the record deal 5 months before the album came out. So we had just published our EP where we did our summer tour in Finland and lots of great festivals. Suddenly we hear that there's a label that's interested in us, but the catch is we have 5 months to write, record, mix, master, everything. So that was pretty rough. I am proud about the songs. Production wise, I think it would have been cool to top the first EP, but we did the other way. But then again, I'm proud of it. And because our second album, Carnival Days, which we did with our friend Per Aldeheim from Sweden, Stockholm, the second album sounded very huge in comparison to the first album. After that, we did one EP, Vibrations Part 1. And on this one, we took our music in even more into the pop rock genre with the production and the whole color of it. Very cool stuff. After this, we thought that, okay, maybe that was a bit too soft. Let's take it the other way around. And as COVID hit and the world stopped, all we could do is be together. So first, we took a couple of months off of everything. Then we went back to the rehearsal space to write. Um, our latest album, Forgotten Shades of Life. And when we recorded this album, we went to this studio in the countryside here in Finland, and we recorded all the instrumentals live. Well, most of the instrumentals live because of naturally you also add some instruments to the whole production. But the basis of the whole album is recorded live. Some of the vocals are also recorded live on, for instance, Forgotten Shades of Life, the song that we actually wrote within the studio one evening together with the guys as our producer left to go somewhere else. We were staying at the studio, and during 4 hours or something, we wrote the whole song, wrote the lyrics, the melodies. It was a magical moment, and we decided to then record the song for the album, do it the proper way, which we did the next day. So this one is very raw, but at the same time, it has this polished vibe to it as well. But you can hear the rawness of it, and especially with the vocals as well, because I wanted zero autotune on the whole album.
Mhm.
I'm not against autotune. I understand the idea with the modern production and all of this, but I've always been the one to hear what it sounds like before it has to be fixed to fit the radios. So this just listen to them all. But when you listen to them, check out the year it came out, and then if you want, go see a music video. If you do it this way, it's gonna be very interesting because you will see us change. You will hear the music change. You will feel the different productions, what we are going at this point in time. And now with the next songs, we don't know who we're working on yet, but we'll see. I think we might go say hi to some of our old friends in Sweden. Who knows?
Yeah, and listen, Sweden, another place where a lot of catchy music and big sounds. A lot of my favorite songwriters come from Sweden. We were just
Hmm.
looking at the record cover for the latest record, and that is available in the description. And it's easy to get. I should point out. You can order it in America. You don't have to pay foreign shipping. You can order it wherever you're watching. Your records are very accessible, which is the key. Uh, I know you guys are a fan of physical media. That you'd like people to do it the old school way. Take a look at the lyrics, and
Hmm.
so while streaming is great, if you can get some physical product, it's the might be the fun way to do it.
That's a fun way to do it, and that's always the way you can support the band in the proper way.
Right.
The best way to do it is to buy the physical copies and come to the shows and buy the physical copies there. But when it comes to the lyrics and all of this, as I know that not all can afford these ones, I do understand that. This is why we are coming out with some content regarding the lyrics and our songs and songwriting in general. We're just trying to bring what we feel and what we think to you guys. And like I said earlier, now that we have our rehearsal space, we have so much that we can do what we can do earlier. So I'm very excited to see what this next step will be for us.
Yeah, good things ahead. As I said,
Hmm.
when I saw you live, I started thinking about some of the songs. Single "Do You," which is one of your videos, also
Hmm.
the hook stayed in my head for the next 2 or 3 days, and I came home and I'm singing it, and I'm saying I couldn't remember why I knew it, and then I said I got to
Hmm.
dig deeper into Shiraz Lane and say, that's what you want. You want something that stays with you, and if I hear that song now, it right back to it. So that's a great thing. I recommend people can check out that single as well. You can work backwards. We're looking at a couple pictures in band because we didn't talk to the other
That's
guy.
our first picture we ever took together with Joe.
Yeah, I thought everyone looks a little younger here.
Hmm.
So that would be about 2014 probably on this one.
Yeah, yeah. We were what 20 something like that. I
Mhm.
think. Yeah, 2019 something like that.
Yeah, it's funny how yeah, yeah. You stay busy though. You're building your catalog, and like you
Hmm.
said, you're building the interest, talking to people who can offer advice, offer help, and see where it goes. I'm happy to spread the word. I'm hoping we'll have you back. Maybe the guys will come with you, and we'll talk
Hmm.
about when the next record is available or the next tour. As you said, probably next year for
Hmm.
America. But I know
For
there.
yeah, for North America. Yeah, for North America, I think it's gonna be next year. I'm very much hoping for this to be true. For South America, though, we might pop up maybe this year. We'll
That's
see.
what I was
But
hearing.
these are plans until they happen. That's what I've
Yeah,
learned so far.
yeah. When the world is crazy, we never know.
Hmm.
But I think that there's some international audiences will get to see you,
Oh, for sure.
and I hope that we expose some people to some good music. And I think that was the whole goal.
That's the whole point.
Thank you so much, Hannes. I appreciate it. I look forward to lots of success for you guys.
Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Check out Shiraz Lane. You won't be disappointed.